Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
This
Black
is
Friday. It's Black
yes,
Friday.
Black Friday. Did you do any
Oh
shopping
my,
today?
well, no, I lost the hind tire to my motorcycle and I had to go get that. And so it was in the horse trailer. Put the motorcycle in the horse trailer. I'm driving down the 101 and the outlet malls, the, the, the side streets, the frontage road, the cars, there was thousands of cars. There was no parking. There was cars lined up on the street, nowhere to go.
Nice. Yes, we didn't do any Black Friday shopping, but we are here. And normally we do our Facebook Lives on Thursday, but obviously yesterday was Thanksgiving.
We
So
thought
we're
we'd have a
doing
poor
them.
turnout on a Thanksgiving night.
Well, we were busy too. So we are doing it tonight instead. First of all, happy Thanksgiving. I always like to spend a little time on Thanksgiving just being grateful for the many blessings in our life, including horses, happiness, and health.
And more horses and a few more horses.
Yes. So yesterday we went to the barn. We were on barn duty yesterday morning because our groom, we gave him the morning off. So I always love spending time on the holidays with the horses.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, there's no one at the barn.
You're just riding, you're just doing your thing.
And it was a beautiful day. It was like no wind, super warm and sunny. And the last few Thanksgivings here in California, we've had horrible Santa Ana winds. Like it's been
we've had bad
miserable.
We had bad winds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, but not yesterday and not today. So it's been beautiful weather. And I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Oh, yay. Well. I'm all for that. I'm a husband who helps.
Yes, you are a good husband. I know. I was so tired. I got home from the barn and I was like, I really don't want to do a Facebook Live. And her mom said, I'll do it with you. So thank you, honey.
You're the best.
Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about this weekend. We have a Through the Levels virtual symposium on sale. So check out the link above or below. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this virtual Through the Levels, what that looks like, but then also talk about like the way that the levels are structured, how to move up the levels, and then also how to adapt based on your horse's needs, right? Because every horse is a little bit different. And while you follow the training scale and like you follow the tests to build your horse.
You do the theory, but
you have to adjust.
You apply an aid, that's information. What happens is information, then you adjust the aid.
Oh, look, Kahana says I'm still too full to ride.
Wow, that's awesome.
We just had our second Thanksgiving, so we just had leftovers.
I had to say the leftovers
and
just now, so.
I think I'm too full to ride again.
But it's dark now. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, last night when we went to dinner, one of her moms, I guess, what is she, like your cousin kind of?
Yeah, second family.
Anyway, she made the most delicious like pumpkin cookies with dark chocolate chips and walnuts. They were so good.
I had that in addition to my apple pie.
Yes. Okay, back to the symposium.
So the thing about like you were saying about the training scale, and then there's the levels and how the levels are designed to move you along.
Yes.
Those patterns, if you can do those patterns relatively well, you're ready to go to the next level. And then your course does a pretty good job of giving you some other exercises to achieve what is in those tests.
Yeah. So definitely follow the tests because they really help you to know how to incrementally train your horse.
Yeah, but they're designed for that, for those people who are out in the middle of no training areas.
Yeah. But what's really cool about the Through the Levels symposium and the way we put it together is it's mostly amateur riders. So that's always helpful because you can identify with them. And then it's also a lot of different types of horses. So like off the track thoroughbreds, Arabians, there's like a Welsh pony cross in there. There's warm bloods. There's like all the things. And that's what I love about dressage is it really is good.
It's good for all the horses.
Yeah.
I remember coming and doing auditing those judges programs and stuff. And way back in the day, they'd have, half a dozen Grand Prix horses doing training level and go, that's what it should look like. And then you're like, well, what do you do when you're in the real world?
Right. Yeah.
And so this is a little bit more real world.
Yeah. So I wanted to go through off the track thoroughbred. So if you have an off the track thoroughbred, how might you need to adjust your training plan to suit that? And we're talking a little bit in generalities here, so there's always an exception. But in general, off the track thoroughbred, how are we going to adjust our training plan to help them?
I'm not understanding the question fully. Well, why? Because of the thoroughbred and the fact that it wants to run and it's been taught
Yes,
to run.
yes.
You might have to slow things down a little
Yes.
bit and and really familiarize the horse with the new equipment, the new program, and just take a lot more time in the beginning until you get them caught up to speed.
Yeah. So there is a off the track thoroughbred that I work with inside
Right, there you go.
the
A lot more
clinic.
lunging. That might be.
Yeah, lunging, but also then just taking your time, like through the exercises that you like. For example, with the off the track thoroughbred, we were doing Herman's favorite like ice cream cone into canter
Oh yeah,
exercise.
I love that
So
one.
you basically do an ice cream cone and then canter a circle and then ice cream cone. But because the off the track thoroughbred was a little anxious about it, sometimes we just had to trot a few circles. And then sometimes in the canter, we had to stay in the canter until the horse relaxed. So a horse that's a little bit laid back, you want to do like more frequent transitions. If your horse is a little hotter, then you need to adjust the pattern.
And stay in it until there's some bit of calmness.
Yeah. And that's the hard part about riding and training is, Herman and I, we've ridden so many different types of horses.
And then you have a lot more experience. And so you
Yeah.
go, oh, this one reminds me of this other horse. And that's what they were told. And so we do that.
Yeah. So it's like, yes, you follow this pattern and you follow the test to train your horse. But within that, you have to make little adjustments and little changes based on what your horse needs. So one of the other horses inside the symposium was a little bit more laid back and not so much in front of the rider's leg. So what do you do with a horse you're having trouble getting it to go? What are some good exercises?
I stop and start, and I like stop and go extended canter and
Yes.
stop and go extended canter.
Yes. So transitions. If you have a horse that is a little lazy, a little bit behind the leg, lots and lots of transitions are a really good way to get them awake and get them going. So I think that's really important. And then we also have a few Arabians. I personally love Arabians. I think that they're super smart. They can be like great dressage horses. What do you feel about Arabians?
I don't really have a lot of experience.
You don't?
Just a couple.
Well, probably because you're big. You've never.
Right. They don't come my way.
Yeah. In general, they're super smart. They learn really fast. Let us know in the chat if you have an Arabian. But they tend to be like pretty short coupled and have a high set neck. And so in general, working a lot of suppleness exercises, working on getting them to like drop and lower their neck, that can be really helpful. And again, it's figuring out how to adjust your program to suit your horse's needs, because every horse really is an individual. And so the more that you can tailor your program to fit what your horse needs, the better. And I think that really is the sign of a true horseman, is when they're able to adjust their pattern and their system to suit the horse's needs.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing. It's only a matter of degree, because it all works, but you just can't go at it with the same intensity.
Yeah. Sheena's asking, have I worked with Friesians? Yes. I used to ride a lot of Friesians actually back in the day. And again, they're super smart, but they do require a little bit of a different technique. Some of them can be a little bit laid back. We'll say that nicely. So again, it's like lots of transitions
and you really have to insist.
Yes. Yes. You have to be clear. You have to insist. And then with the Friesians too, a lot of times, since they're designed to pull carts, the canter can be tricky, like getting them to really collect and
that's
balance in the canter.
But the breeders are seeing that there's there's a market there in the dressage, and the breeding is really coming along with the
That's
Friesians.
true.
I mean, they're improving the breed to be more of a sport horse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're nicer now than when they were 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, they can be great horses. I used to ride a Friesian. His name was Mops, which I thought was a great name for a Friesian because his feathers, they look like a mop. But he was super cool to ride. I always felt like with that horse, if I was going to ride a horse into battle, like that is the horse.
He'd take you.
Like you just feel like you're invincible, and like he just had the hugest canter ever. But it definitely was a challenge to collect his canter and to get him like really reactive. So I am a big believer in the more different types of horses you ride, the better a rider you are. And it's one thing to be able to ride your horse, but when you can ride any horse, when you can ride a hot horse, a lazy horse, a Friesian, an Arab, a thoroughbred, that is when you're like really becoming a true horseman. So
that's a fact.
Yes. Okay. The other really fun thing inside that Through the Levels symposium, which is only available until Monday, is I did a half halt demo in Utah. I don't think you've seen it yet. No. It was really cool. So I did this demo. There was a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a Grand Prix horse. And
was that the half halt thing you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. And I think 2 of the horses were related. So they were all chestnut mares, which was really cool. And the clinic organizer, she said, all right, I want you to show the audience what a half halt looks like. And I was like so stressed out. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to illustrate a half halt? Because ideally half halts are invisible, right? They're something that you shouldn't see.
You don't, yeah. Unless you have to make that half halt from hell, but for the most part, they should be rather subtle.
So what I did was I had them like line up, and I had them start out with doing trot walk transitions. And it was like the 4-year-old first, the 7-year-old, and then the Grand Prix horse. And then we did canter trot transitions. And again, 4, 7 Grand Prix. And it was really cool to see, the 4-year-old, because it was younger, kind of would lose her balance a little in the half halts. And then the Grand Prix horse was really able to keep their balance and keep the collection through the transition. So it was a really great illustration of how half halts develop as your horse develops and moves up the levels. And then I also, since they were all professional riders, I told them to do bad half halts, which is always really entertaining.
Yeah.
So yes, there was some leaning forward and pulling.
And so you've got all that for the.
Yeah, it's inside the symposium.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole like 45-minute half halt demo is in there. So if you're dying to see it, definitely check it out. Because it was cool. It was very interesting to see.
And it was funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. I also had them say out loud when they were doing the half halts so that we could try to see a little bit what they were doing. But for some reason, half halts are a question I get asked all the time. People are just so perplexed by half halts, and they are really complicated. But at the end of the day, they're about rebalancing and getting your horse's attention.
Yes.
Those 2 things.
Yeah, get them refocused. If they're off on La La Land, going look at the pretty birds, truck, wind, car, other horse.
Yes.
Whatever.
So anyways, if you need some entertainment this weekend, check out the Through the Levels symposium. On other exciting news, we were at the horse show last weekend, which was very fun. I had Luigi and Harvey, and then Herman had a student there.
Which was her, 12th show, maybe?
Yeah, she did great, though. She did great.
She moved up to second level.
Yes, she has a spicy little horse who, I always feel like for kids, it's good for them to have a horse that challenges you. I mean, again, it's like those horses are what make you a really good rider.
And when you're young, it's just not, it's a whole different mental state.
But it's so fun to teach the kids. Yeah. It's so fun.
Yeah, no. I mean,
because they're brave.
When you ride as a youth, it's a different brain.
Yeah.
You don't really think so much about how hard the ground is.
Yes, yes. But we went down to Thermal, which is out near Palm Springs, and it's beautiful out there. Like the
Yeah, the
mountains.
weather was great. Oh yeah, then there was
Yeah.
that mountain that had the clouds around it, and then the sun was peeking through all the Jesus rays.
Yeah.
It was
The
really
weather
great.
was really nice. The other thing that was really fun is Stephen Peters was there riding, and I always just love watching him ride. He was riding a young stallion. Did you see him ride that
I
horse?
did not at the third level.
Yeah, but it was really interesting because he went in and the horse was like hot and a little bit unsettled. I think it was like a 6 or a 7-year-old, and he went in and the first center line, he saluted, and then the horse like moved around right when he was saluting, and he was just so calm about it, and he just like fixed the horse just like he had all day long, like forget the fact that we're in a test and the judge is sitting there, and he just fixed the horse, saluted again, and then when he did his halt before the rein back, same thing. The horse like fidgeted, and he just like, it was like he had all day. He just organized again, halted again, rein back, and then the last halt was like perfect.
It was halted.
But I think that's a really important reminder, which is that
it's all training.
It's all training. Until you're going down center line at the Olympics,
it's all training.
All training. And that's one thing that I really tried to do at the show as well, is ride the same as I ride at home and not change how I'm riding just because I'm at the show and the judge is sitting there watching me. And I think that that's always a challenge, but that's the end goal, is to remember that it is all training.
We're just going horseback riding. And that's
what you say.
Every time I make the turn down the center line, I look at my horse and I'm just like, let's just go horseback riding.
Yes.
And so in we go. I think somebody
said kids have no fear.
Yes, but I think they related to what I was saying, because she says she wished she had the kid brain again.
Yes.
Yes. Because, we start looking at things different.
Yes. Okay, the other topic on my mind, for those of you who are in my groundwork course, I've been reading Horse Brain, Human Brain, and talking about rewarding your horse, which is super important. And I think we all forget to reward our horses because we're too picky and determined about what we want done.
And I've been saying it recently to 2 people, actually, is never go past an opportunity to reward your horse. Whenever there's even half of an opportunity, take it. Take the opportunities to reward your horses, because there's plenty of times when you don't, because you've got to make a correction.
And what's the best way to reward your horse?
I think the walk works really well. You can just, with my mare, because I need to keep working, I just speak soothingly to her while I'm riding, so I don't give up the contact or whatever. But I don't go for 20 minutes and just do kilometer training either.
Yeah. I think
give her a lot of breaks, and I try to pick my breaks. I want to give her a lot of frequent breaks, and I want to do them at a moment where she did something reasonably well that was in the ballpark. And so to encourage her to try harder.
Yeah.
I don't want to make her try harder. I want her to try harder, because when it goes well, we get a break, and she goes, oh, she gets into it, she understands, and we get a break. So
yeah. So walk breaks are great. Scratching your horse a little on their neck with your fingers, vocal cues, those are good. And putting your horse away, letting your horse rest, leaving them alone, those are all really good rewards. I'm not, in the book that also talks about, I'm not a huge fan of food rewards, because for one, your horse is always looking for more, right? And especially if the horses have a really good sense of smell. So if you have a bunch of like cookies all the time in your pocket,
they'll be in your space. Yeah. And I had a client with small children, and because that horse was always in the chest looking for the treats, I was like, I'm worried about your kid's digits, because the horse is looking for treats, and the kids don't have those boundaries and don't make the space. So You have to be careful with the food. Depends on the horse. Some are more piggy than other ones, right?
Yes.
There's some are way more fruity. So you just gotta. And we have the new horse in the barn too, and so she was treating him when we were mounting. And now you go to mount him. He's getting over it because we've stopped treating him at the mounting block. But he was just I'm here at the mounting block. Where's my stuff?
Yeah. And the other thing about rewarding your horses is about timing. Like timing is super important, and horses really remember that. So like, let's say you're riding and you do like a beautiful flying change and you want to reward your horse. And so you stop and you like give him a treat. But by the time you've dug the treat out of your pocket and then give it to your horse, they don't remember that they did a flying change to get the treat.
They just know they stopped and got a treat.
So, and same thing on the ground. Like if they accidentally shove you or like step towards you and you give them a treat, then they think that they're getting a treat for that. And sometimes when you really are able to like take a step out and look at what's happening, like I feel like we're so dumb sometimes. Horses are so much smarter than we are because most of the time you've trained them to do that bad behavior. You don't realize it, but it's your fault. Like if your horse constantly paws in the cross ties, you've probably trained them to do that. You know, if your horse is looking for treats at the mounting block, it's because you've trained them to do that.
Or you've got a horse that got trained to do that too. I mean, that's who knows. But the timing, what you say is because the horses are just right here in the present moment.
Yeah.
They're right here, right now. They don't remember, they don't think it, and I'm gonna. No, it's what happened right now. And you've got roughly 7 Mississippis. If you have a major reward within 7 Mississippis or your correction, then don't do it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
7 seconds.
7 Mississippis. Because at 8, and it's been a long time. I'm pretty sure I read that they can associate whatever for about 8 seconds. So you want to get it done by 7 Mississippis.
Yes. Okay. And my final lesson for today, before I go to bed, is 6:30 too early to go to bed?
No, I do it all the time.
Okay. How not to get kicked. Have you ever gotten kicked?
Yes.
What happened when you got kicked?
Not much.
What caused you to get kicked?
It was a long time ago as a child. I don't remember what happened.
You haven't gotten kicked since you were a child?
I mean, I get stepped on and stuff, but no, I haven't gotten kicked in forever.
Okay.
Now, I'm knock on wood, because tomorrow when I go to the barn, hopefully nothing goes.
Okay, well, true confession, I got kicked by Harvey yesterday. And it was totally my fault. It's always your fault. See, that's the thing. If you get stepped on, if you get bitten, I used to work with this cowboy guy, and he would like say, if you get bitten, grit your teeth and bear the pain because it's your own fault. And you know, by the time you get bitten, you've missed that opportunity of your horse like coming towards you or initiating that bite. And so, anyways, but here's what happened, how I got kicked. I'm fine. I was very lucky. Harvey,
it was a glancing blow.
There's a pretty good bruise on my thigh.
He caught you.
He got me good.
He got you.
So Harvey, my Grand Prix horse, he's incredibly sensitive and he hates getting clipped. Like trying to clip that horse is terrible. So the vet was out and they sedated him for something else. And so he was asleep. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to clip him because he's asleep. What I forgot is that there's different types of drugs work differently on horses. And so they gave him Rompin, which is like a short-term sedation. It doesn't last very long, but it also doesn't take away the kicking instinct. So Harvey was like completely asleep and I start clipping him. When he's awake, he knows that he shouldn't kick. So he kind of warns you, like he like looks at you side-eyed and he's like,
it's all dancy.
Yeah. And he warns you, but because he was drugged,
it just went.
It was so fast, the reaction. And he hit me so hard. And I just like felt the impact. And then, you know, after you like fall off or you get kicked or something and you're like, I'm okay. I can still walk. Nothing is like
nothing critical here. Nothing to see here. It's all good.
So yes, I have a very pretty bruise on the front of my thigh. Yes, I put arnica on it, and then I took an ice boot home. We have like tons of ice boots at the barn, so I definitely put an ice boot on the way home. But it's just a really good reminder about how quick horses' instincts are. And Harvey is like, it wasn't his fault.
That's a fact. Horses are an empath. They're into motion. They don't have to think it. Like, we look at something, analyze it, and then make a choice or make a decision or take action. Horses are into action before they even know why.
They don't have a frontal lobe.
Right. So they hear a noise, they're moving.
Yeah. But it was just a good reminder of that. And it was even worse because he was drugged. So that's something that you just want to be aware of, is that when your horse is drugged,
he's not quite like your horse.
Yeah, and make sure to talk to your vet about that was just so stupid of me. So live and learn. Luckily, I didn't get really badly injured, but you just want to be so aware of how quick horses can react. And they never mean to hurt you. Like that, horses aren't predators.
They're just not malevolent by nature.
They're not out to get you. It's just their instinct. And if something scares them and they think they need to protect themselves,
they're on it.
They will. So anyways, that's tonight's lesson. So I think that's it for tonight. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Wrap that up, and then we'll do it again next week.
Yes, we'll be here next Thursday. I don't think we have. Oh, we're going to be at the Ingrid Klimke clinic next weekend.
Yeah, you leave Friday, I leave Saturday.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll be here Thursday, and then we're headed down to ride. I get to ride in the clinic with Ingrid Klimke, which should be really fun. I think we're doing Cavalettis.
Ooh, that's good.
So that will be fun. I'll get to learn some new stuff. Apparently there's going to be a lot of people there. A lot of vendors. I think there's going to be like close to 800 people. So it's going to be very exciting.
It's an event.
Hopefully we'll see some of you there, and have a good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. And don't forget, I'm bringing Harvey. So yes, Harvey, the one that kicked me. He's beautiful. He has amazing piaffe massage. And don't forget to check out the Through the Levels Symposium if you want to see some horses go from training level up to Prix St. George with me teaching. It was very fun to get to do those clinics, and it was a great group of riders and horses, which is always
you would come back from that clinic pretty
fun.
Energized.
Yeah,
you had a good time.
Yeah. It's really, I love doing clinics. It's really fun to meet some of you and to work with you and your horses. And just, I think clinics are really helpful to get a different perspective sometimes and some new ideas and new exercises. I know both Herman and I love riding in clinics. Nothing is better than getting a good lesson.
Oh God, it's so nice to not think for a minute and use somebody else's brain. You just, okay, I'll just do whatever you say. Fine, I don't have to think. Yay.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. We're going to go ride with Christine Traurig next month.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Alrighty, everyone.